Welcome to Prepare to Care, an AARP podcast aimed at bringing you free information, free resources, and free tools to help caregivers and their families. I am your host, Charlene James. Thank you for joining us today. For some, getting the COVID-19 vaccine has been a real challenge. Whether they lack transportation to locations where they can get the vaccine, or simply they just can't leave home. Many of these community members are among the most vulnerable Texans, but help is on the way. AARP Texas has teamed up with Toyota to provide vehicles to the Harris County Area Agency on Aging in Houston. These vehicles will help the agency to vaccinate through their outreach efforts, including the ability to perform in-home vaccinations and provide vaccine information. And that's good news. Here to join us today and to talk about this project of vehicles for vaccine outreach and who is eligible for this service, we have Paula Johnson, who is the Bureau Chief for the Harris County Area Agency on Aging, and Kareem Myers with the Toyota Company. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Let's begin. Before we get to the vehicle and the initiative to get more unvaccinated individuals vaccinated, let's start with the latest numbers, Ms. Johnson. What are the latest figures as to how many people are being vaccinated or those that we may feel are still in that gap of not receiving the vaccine?
So, Charlene, the current numbers that I have right now is that in our older adult population, and Harris County, actually overall Harris County, let me start with that first, is 48.2% of Houstonians and those that live in Harris County are vaccinated. And of that number, 74.6% are 75 and older, and 74.9% are 60 years and older. So those are our current numbers right now.
So who are the most in need of getting the vaccine?
So those that are most in need of getting a vaccine are, of course, our older adults, but especially those that are 80 years of age or older, those that are bedbound, those that require ambulatory transport, people with disabilities, 79 years of age or older or younger with health conditions, and of course our veterans. And so those are the special populations that we are looking to that just do not have either access or have transportation or are able to get out and get the COVID vaccine.
So as I mentioned at the top of the show, access to the vaccine due to lack of transportation and for those that are truly homebound or bedbound are two issues facing many of the older adults today. That's where Toyota comes in. Mr. Myers, tell us about Toyota's involvement in this initiative.
Absolutely. So, COVID really forced, the world to think differently. And we had to pivot, from our day-to-day approach in solving, challenges. We knew that, certain populations, had little to no access to critical vaccine information and even transportation to vaccine appointments. So from our standpoint, we, from a national standpoint, we did a three-phase approach. The first phase was really to support, manufacture, and donate, PPE and food support, to those who had limited access to resources. Our second phase, which involves process improvement, and what that means is really trying to address the digital divide, digital learning, sharing our knowledge of mass vaccination sites to serve more people. And then our third phase was really to focus on accessibility. How can we support our goal to bring the vaccine to individuals that may and may not have access or transportation to the vaccine?
That is great news, and we commend Toyota for being right there at the forefront in this effort. This is a great opportunity that you're providing in need, and AARP is proud to be a part of it. Before we leave, are there any last things? And of course, tell us about the project and if there are some other cities that are engaged in this as well, Mr. Myers.
Absolutely. So, from a national standpoint, we've donated more than 50 vehicles across the country. Specifically with AARP, we work with them in 9 different specific regions to support the vaccine transportation and vaccine efforts.
Okay, great to hear. So, Ms. Johnson, have you mapped out your areas, areas where you will be driving those vehicles?
Well, yes, we have, Charlene. We are looking at those areas, looking at the data to help drive us to where we need to go. And those areas where we know that the vaccine usage or the vaccine data shows where people are not getting a vaccine. And so those are the areas that we are targeting with our in-home COVID vaccine initiative.
And so, how will people know when the vaccines will be in their areas?
So we're actually doing a lot of outreach into the community to get the word out to everyone. We're using our network that we already have to get the word out, and our providers and the aging community and network. And so we're also using our social media platforms that are available to us to help spread the word.
Well, again, this is a great opportunity, and AARP is very pleased to be a part of this. And we certainly want to commend the partnership with the Toyota as well. Before we leave, for both of you, is there any one last bit of information you would like to share with our listeners? Ms. Johnson.
Well, we would definitely like, especially our caregivers, to know that if they have a loved one that needs to get a vaccine in the home, that we're there to assist them, but we will also give the caregiver their vaccine as well. And so the number I'd like to leave with everyone is our call center number where they can call, which is the Harris County Area Agency on Aging. And our number is 832-393-4301.
And Mr. Myers.
Yeah, absolutely. Toyota is more than it's a mobility company. And for us, mobility is about it's more than taking, people from A to B. It's also about bringing critical goods and services to people in underserved communities. So we understand that the city of Houston is doing great work, which is why AARP selected them. We really hope that this initiative, helps to continue to provide, vaccine education and improve access to local communities and surrounding areas that have limited access to these resources.
Ms. Johnson, when these
Yeah.
vehicles arrived and you're ready to go, who will be in the vehicles and administering the vaccinations?
So we have a team of 2 to 3 that will go out, and it consists of sort of an admin person, a nurse, a RN, that will also go to give the vaccines. And currently, we are giving the Moderna and the Johnson and Johnson. And so we're excited. As soon as the vehicle is ready, we are ready to roll out.
Well, on behalf of AARP Houston in particular, we want to say thank you to both of you for your work in ensuring that those who continue to still be left out without having their vaccines are going to be served through this joint arrangement. So thank you both, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Be sure to go to aarp.org near you to learn more about the Vehicles for Vaccines Outreach Initiative. We encourage you to follow Prepare to Care podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud. You can also catch past episodes on our AARP Texas YouTube channel. Thanks for listening, and as always, thanks for caring.